What if all it took to manage your finances was 1 day per month? You would have clarity on how profitable your business is, as well as being able to project forward to see what the next coming months will look like. It'd be pretty amazing, yeah? Well, by the end of this video, you are going to know how I go about this process within my own business so that you can turn around and do the same in yours. I'm Amanda Horvath, and on this channel, I help eliminate the obstacles to getting you sitting where I'm sitting right now, in front of the camera, sharing your message with the world. So if in addition to getting organized in your finances, you would also like help with making more money online, then be sure to subscribe and check out the helpful resources that are linked in the description below. All right, so super high level, knowing your numbers is everything within your business, but you also do not want to get stuck in the meticulous tasks of accounting. For that reason, I like to do basic accounting in my business and then pass off everything else to an accountant. So that accountant is going to reconcile my books, which is very meticulous, as well as do my taxes for me. And I would highly suggest you following this route. I will be walking you through things that you're going to do that are going to limit the amount of work that your accountant has to do, but it's going to help you understand what's going on in your business, and you're going to be really close to the money element of your business. And whenever you understand that, you can make different strategic decisions about your business. So it is truly so key to be able to do this. So the strategy that we are going to be using is to sit down once per month and have what I like to call a money date with yourself, where you have a list of to-do items that you're gonna go through every single month. Once you get through that list, you're done and your accountant will take over the rest. By the way, this video is part of a longer video series that is going to get you up and running in your business finances. We have already talked about the only 5 steps that you need to be able to get a handle on your business finances. Truly, these are the only 5 steps. They're the only things that I do within my business. Then I tell you what to pass off as well. We've also gotten you up and running on QuickBooks. This video is diving into what you do on a monthly basis once you have all of those other things set up. So if you haven't already checked out those videos, I will link to them in the description below. Now, every single person's tasks are going to look slightly different depending on the kind of business that you run. So if you pay subcontractors, for example, that's going to be an extra task that I don't necessarily have in my business currently. I used to have that in the past. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk through my list of to-dos that I do every single month, both for business and personal finances, because I do all of it in 1 day per month, which is only a couple of hours. And you're gonna get an idea for what your tasks might look like. Then from there, you're going to put a repeating event on your calendar that happens towards the end of the month so that you can close out your books and accomplish all of these tasks. And all of these tasks will actually be in that calendar event so that every month you know these are the things I'm doing. I'm telling you, this system works like a charm. So here is my repeating event. I like to call it the monthly finance closeout, and I have a list of all of the items that I do during this time block. And if for some reason, whenever I'm moving through my week and this is coming up and I need to move it, I never delete this time block. I just move it to a different day to ensure that I am keeping up to date with everything. So I'm gonna walk through these one by one and very quickly describe them. First, mark everything under banking. Now, if you previously watched the video on how to get started with QuickBooks, QuickBooks is absolutely essential to the systems that I use. It is truly the best system out there. I would not waste your time going with any of the other ones like FreshBooks or HoneyBook or any of those kind of ones. They're just not as intricate as QuickBooks. And at some point, you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna need a more intense software, intense being a relative term, and you're going to end up on QuickBooks. And it's just so nice to have all of your books from years and years in the past in one place rather than having them in multiple different softwares hopping around. So get started with QuickBooks. I will link to my affiliate link in the description below that gets you 30% off for your first 6 months. And I will link to the Get Started video in the description below as well for those of you that aren't on there. So what I mean by mark everything under banking is that once a month, I always start off by going in my QuickBooks and I go under banking and I mark everything that hasn't been organized within there. Once again, if you haven't already seen that other video where I get you set up on QuickBooks, that's where you'll learn that. So just to show you how I do this, because especially if you use PayPal or Stripe or anything like that, it's gonna come in from those places and you're gonna have to go in and determine where those things fall. So I did not go into that in the other video, so I'll show you that real quick, how I go through and do that, because a lot of people will be using Stripe and PayPal. So I pull up Stripe, I go to my balances right here, payouts. I like to split my different offerings that are coming into Stripe in different categories. And this happens whenever you're first setting something up. So all of my Kajabi payments that are coming in, they're gonna come through this Amanda Horvath courses. You can't really see the ending of it. That's all of those that come in. I also have kind of different price points so that I know what's coming through without having to look at the individual transactions. I can just kind of look at the payouts and be able to kind of determine what's going where. And this will make sense in just a second. And then I have Amanda Horvath coaching, which is anytime that someone actually books a coaching call with me, that's going to come through here. And that gets funneled through Calendly as of right now, just because it's easy. And then Amanda Horvath products or anything that people buy on my website. And that's digital products, templates that I sell, and different things like that. And that comes through Squarespace. So I have multiple streams coming in, and you might as well, depending on what your business looks like. So once a month, I go in and I'll say, all right, Stripe, here we go. That's probably coming from my course. I go underneath courses and I see right there, $12.55 on August 30th, right here, August 30th, $12.55. I click that, I go to categorize, and I type in my course, which we set this up in the previous video, and then I just click add. And then for PayPal, because PayPal doesn't automatically send money into your account, what I do is I log into PayPal, I look at the transactions that have happened, and I'm going to split that payment that it went to my account into the different categories of what came in. So this is where we're getting a little bit more in the weeds to kind of show you how this works, because I didn't do that in the previous video. Anytime I log into PayPal and I see a balance here, I'm going to transfer that money to my account. Just a standard transfer so that I don't get any fees on that. When that money hits my account, it's gonna show up in QuickBooks like this, 582, right? That's a different amount. So we go in here, we go to activity, go to all transactions, and we're going to see that on this day, I transferred 582.27 into my bank account. And that is the same thing that we just did, what I just showed you that I did. I can see that underneath it, I go as far back to when I actually transferred another amount to my bank account, which was all the way back July 25th. Because we are at the end of August and we are closing out August right now. So I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to add up all the ones that come from the same person. So you can see I have a lot of payments from TimeBolt, which is an amazing editing software that I promote heavily on this channel. So a lot of people take me up on that. So I will add up all of these amounts. So $38.84 came in through TimeBolt. So I'll show you how this works. We're gonna click on this PayPal and we are going to go into categorize, and we are gonna go down here to where it says split. Depending on what kind of level of QuickBooks you have, this will still be available. It just might show up in a different place for you. So I'm on, once again, the plus version of QuickBooks. So I go in here and I type in TubeBuddy, and I've already set them up as a customer. If you haven't, you can add them as a customer. For category, I have an affiliate revenue category that is software. I can write the amount that it came in, $38.84 from TubeBuddy. And then I go through and do that for all of the other amounts that came in. So, or sorry, TimeBolt, I got that wrong, my bad, TimeBolt, there we go. For TubeBuddy, which is another one that is an awesome software that I recommend, $178.78 came in from that. And we can go affiliate, software, we can add a couple of lines. You can see right here, I still have to account for $364. So we've got TimeBolt, we've got TubeBuddy. Right here, I know that this is actually Descript. Yet again, another amazing software that I recommend to individuals. $87.75 came in from that. Descript is an editing software. Affiliate, software, And the final one is Kajabi, another software that I recommend, $276.9. And those are all softwares that I use within my business. So affiliate, software, boom. And you can see right there, it evens out and I can go hit apply and accept. Now you would go through and you would finish it out for the rest of your income that's coming in or any transactions as well. And just to give you an example of transactions, what those look like, they will come through like this and it will usually have a description of what it is. And then you can know, how do I want to label that on my profit and loss statement? So as you do this more and more, you will get better at it. And this is another reason why I highly suggest hiring an accountant to help you, because if you ever have any questions, they can help you get it done. So we are going to go in here, and this is G&A expenses right there under insurance, and I can click add. So once you've done that, you're gonna have these green check marks that say all is set. You will go back to your calendar and you're going to move on to the next step. So for me personally, it is to update the projections spreadsheet with actuals. I'm gonna cover this deeper in a future video, but I like to have a rolling forecast where I can see everything that has happened in my year or what it will happen in the year. So I always set it up at the beginning of the month or beginning of the year, my goodness. And then I go in, you can see here, September, there's estimations that I have of what I think I'm gonna make. I can open up August, here's the estimations. Here's what I actually ended up making, and I can always go back and forth and look at them. So the way that we go through to fill out this form, which you're gonna set up differently in another video, we're gonna go to reports, go to the profit and loss statement, and right here we have all of it, and I would just fill in these numbers on that actual form so that I can compare how did I do to what I was projecting compared to what actually came in, as well as any expenses that came out. And that helps me get awareness around the things that I'm not accounting for as I'm projecting forward in my business. Because if you keep forgetting about expenses and you're not thinking about that random expense that happens in February and it's not on your projections, it's gonna be a surprise when it comes, and we don't want that in entrepreneurship. You wanna have as much clarity on where expenses are coming from. And so doing this is going to help you gain clarity on that. So to make this really efficient, I like to pull out one of it by holding down this arrow. You can choose tile window left or right. We're going to tile it right, put that there, and then I can just very quickly look at the columns and fill out the actual one. So once I've done that, I can just close out of these so that they're not split screen anymore. That's just a little trick that I have. And I am ready to move on to the next one, which is updating my affiliate tracking spreadsheet. So that one is going to be specific for my business because, as you saw, I do make money from promoting different software online. So I like to keep track of those numbers that come in of how much did I make from each of the organizations that I promote for that month. And then at the end of the year, it's gonna give me, or even throughout the year, it gives me clarity on which ones bring in the most amount of money, and then I can double down on promoting those services. And it's all integrity based. You have to promote services that you actually like. I will link to another video where I talk about that, on how to make money in your business in passive ways on YouTube. But that is one of the things that I like to put on my tracking just so I can keep awareness around numbers that are important to me. Now, the next one is to analyze next month's expenses to see how much more I need to bring in, / if I need to pull from savings if I'm expecting to go into the hole based on the revenue that I'm projecting coming in for the next month. So in order to do that, we go to the projections sheet, and you can see why this projection sheet is important, which I'll help you set up in a future video. Might even sell this spreadsheet for you with the estimated months, right? So I can go ahead and hide August. I could always compare to see how I did. I did a lot better than I had projected forward, so that's good. And I ended up spending a little bit more than I was projecting spending. And so I can look at those nuances and see where that happened, where I was wrong, right? Because it happens every month. It's going to be slightly off. So for September, what I can do is I can go into my expenses tab, and this is what I spend on a monthly basis as well as on a yearly basis. And I can look in that month. So we're coming up on September. So I really should only have that one yearly expense that's going to come through in September, as well as all of these monthly expenses that are going to be put in the right category on this sheet. This is intricate details, but I'm showing you what I do in my money date, and you can set this up soon. So I look at those and I say, all right, so if I'm projecting making this amount of money, but my expenses are this amount of money, will I actually be profitable, right? And if not, what else could I do this month to bring in more money? Or if not, how much money do I have in savings so that I could focus on future initiatives that are going to bring in money, be able to go in the hole that month, but know I'm going to pull out of savings. And so I have an awareness of what's coming down the pipeline versus it happening in 1 month and me being like, oh my gosh, I spent too much money and now I got to pull out of savings, right? It's a choice at this stage versus a surprise later. And this is the power of staying on top of your finances. The next task is to transfer taxes and business savings from my account that I keep all of my money in, and I transfer them into individual bank accounts that are tax saving bank accounts and business saving bank accounts. And this comes from a book, Profit First, which I will highly recommend reading and link to it in the description below as well. So what I do each month is based on how much money came in, and we're going to talk for August, I would take 15% of that amount of money that came in, and I'm going to put that into a savings account for taxes specifically. And I don't pull any money out of that except for taxes. And then at the end of the year, whenever I file my taxes, if there's more money left in that account, awesome, bonus money, right? And then I also do the same thing for savings, and I put 15% for savings. Now you can see if we go back here, there's a few months where I ended up not taking money and putting it into my savings account. And because I had to pull out of my savings account for a few months, right? There's no shame in needing to pull out of savings if you are being strategic to set yourself up for better results in the future. And so if for some reason I can't save, I don't put it in, but I try to kind of like retroactively fill in for those savings if I possibly can. But I definitely always save for taxes. And then I also pay myself $5,000 from the business no matter what I make. That also comes from Profit First. They recommend paying yourself eventually 50% of the profits or the revenue coming in. I'm not there yet, but I give myself a flat rate fee, and I find that that number is good for me at the life stage that I am at. So if we go back to the to-do items, you're going to see right here, pay myself $5,000 from the operating expenses account of my business to the personal account. Now this is all going to be happening within my bank account, and I don't want to pull that up for privacy purposes, but you would actually make those transfers and that would be a check off the list. Then I have some personal things that are going to happen. So I pay rent to my mom, she is my landlord, and I transfer that to her at the end or beginning of the month. And then I also pay off any credit cards that I have, including business credit cards. So these are 2 personal credit cards and the business credit card. And then I also have mark on projection sheet if I had to take out money from savings to do above. So a lot is happening on the actual projections sheet, which once again we could talk about in the future. If you want to get access to this, then go ahead and drop a comment below and I will let you know whenever it does come, or check the description below, because if you're watching this video in the future and enough people have commented, maybe I've already added it to the description. The next one is to ensure that I have enough money in my personal account to do the automatic withdrawals for my Ally Goals, which is just the bank that I use. And that is because I do not budget within my personal finances. And I follow a system that Whitney Morrison, my money coach, taught me. She's freaking amazing. You should all go follow her. I will link to her in the description below. But I have a video coming out with her in the future where I interview her about this system to avoid budgeting as well. So if you aren't already, subscribe for that one. And the final item that I do every single month is that if it is March, June, September, or December, aka the end of the quarter, then I go ahead and pay quarterly taxes to the IRS on their website, and I do 20% of the bottom line of my profit and loss statement, and I go ahead and I subtract any previous amounts that I have already paid from that as well to know how much I need to pay that quarter. And when I follow this system, I always end up getting money back in whenever I pay my taxes at the end of the year because I stay on top of it. Plus I have that tax savings account so that it never surprises me that I need to give that to the IRS. And I usually end up having more money in that account at the end of the year, in addition to getting money back from the government whenever we do file our taxes. All right, so we just covered a lot when it comes to doing your money date with yourself, and this may have been overwhelming, this may have been super helpful, this may have given you insights into what areas you need to get into place in order to do this, but I can tell you, once you've learned it, like I used to be someone that was super overwhelmed with my finances, and now I love the money dates with myself. It's super clear, and it gives me such clarity on what I want to do in my business moving forward so that I can continue to be profitable. So if this video is helpful, please be sure to click like and drop a comment below, especially if you're still watching this, because my friend, I want to know who you are. Let's be friends. So drop a comment and let's engage. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll put some helpful videos on the screen next here for you to watch. Like if I've already created that projections video, I will put it here, and I will link to several videos in the description below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.